So, morning everyone. This is a follow-up video from my last one, which was about how to stay on the highest timeline. And I was reflecting on this, and as somebody that's been going through, a really kind of tough situation at the minute, it's it's interesting how on the one hand we can be focusing and looking towards having insight about what we might want to create, and then noticing how our mind can very often go off into catastrophic thinking. And I was reflecting on this and thinking, what do I see about it? And the first thing I see is that, look, sometimes that's going to happen, right? We don't really get to control where those thoughts go sometimes, but it's how much we buy into them. It's how much meaning we give them that for me is important. And when the mind goes off into catastrophic thoughts and then we buy into them and then we try and fight against it and we try and shoehorn the direction that we want things to go, is very often not going to work out well, because we're now trying to go in that direction of our desire, but we're doing it from a place of resistance. We're doing it from a place of fear. And that's never, ever, ever a good energy behind anything we're trying to create. Nothing good comes from an energy of fear behind any of our actions. And so I was thinking, well, what do I see about this? And for me, there is something about when catastrophic thinking is kicking off in our minds and is literally drawing us to it over and over again. I want to suggest to you that there is a gift here. May not seem like it, but I want to suggest to you that there is. And the gift is this. It is an invitation for you to look towards the thing that you are really afraid of happening and see something more of your true nature. See something more of the wholeness of who you are. See something more of the potential for you to be okay if that thing happened, right? Whatever it might be. Now, I'm not saying that's always easy. It certainly hasn't been in my situation. But the more I have looked towards it, and I can tell you it was a reluctant looking towards it. It was like a really, I have to look at that kind of thing. But the more I've looked towards it, the more I've seen glimpses, and I think that's enough. But I've seen glimpses of the possibility of, oh, okay, if that happened, okay, I could adapt to it. I could be okay. I could settle down. I could figure out a way. And that has been enough for me in the situation that I've been in to settle down so that I can stay focused on what it is I'd like to happen and looking for insight in that direction. And when that catastrophic thinking kicks off, now it has slightly less of a hold on me. I can be an observer conscious of it more than I would have done previously, because I've sensed a bit more of my wholeness, because I've grown a bit more into the potential of being okay if it happened. Now, there's probably more to say about what it means to be okay. There's probably, lots more to say about that. And sometimes that being okay thing might be just simply seeing more of our spiritual nature and the spiritual nature of life, right? It isn't always going to be an okayness in terms of outcomes. It might be seeing something about how adaptable we are. Maybe you can reflect on times when things in your life have happened that you didn't think you could cope with, and then they happened and you eventually adapted, right? So maybe there's something about that. Maybe it's something where you go even deeper and you look at, well, what's the nature of who we are? Who are we really? Are we this flesh? Are we this body? Are we this mind? Are we our illnesses? Are we our symptoms? Or are we something much, much deeper than that? And the more you are willing to look towards that, the more you're actually growing into a higher version of yourself. And the more you can see something about the nature of that. Well, when that catastrophic thinking kicks off in your mind and tries to goad you into avoiding something that it thinks you can't cope with. Well, now, because you've done some of the work and you've looked towards more of your nature and who and what we all really are, you're now able to cope better with it. You're much less likely to get caught up in the things it dangles in front of you that it tries to scare you with, um, and more likely to be able to go, oh, look, here it is again. Yeah, but I've seen something about who I am, who we all are here. And it allows you to not get so involved, stay in observer consciousness, and to focus back on, okay, what am I actually looking towards here? And now you'll be looking towards that thing from much less of a place of fear and much more of a place of expansiveness and who you really are. So just a little musing today. I hope it's helpful, and sending lots of love. Take care.